Good afternoon, What Do I Know fans, and welcome back to another episode. Just an average fan talking all ball all the time. It's your man, Jeremy Davis. It's been a long time, but we're back. Big show today. Lots and lots of stuff to talk about. But before we get started, let me introduce my guest. I have my boy, James. What's going on, James?
What's up? Glad to be back.
I have my man, Calvin. What's up, Cal?
What's going on, guys? Nice to be back again.
And then I have Dr. Patrick Roberts.
Thanks for having me back. What's up, fans?
All right, man. Glad to have y'all. So today, big day today in the NBA. Free agency started at 5 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Eastern. Big names going around today. But where I want to start, of course, is with the biggest name of them all, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is going to sign a 4-year, $164 million contract with the Brooklyn Nets. It is said that Kyrie Irving and DeAndre Jordan are going to be there with both of them. What are y'all guys' take on this monumental move?
Well, I mean, first of all, if you're a Knicks fan, you like playing in traffic right now.
Oh man.
Yeah, big time.
you trade Porzingis. You to clear cap room, you tank so you can get the number one pick for Zion. So neither one of those things happened at all. And your biggest pickup right now is Julius Randle.
That is so true. That's like the word. And for those of you who have not listened to me before, just know I did call this. I did say Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving would end up in Brooklyn. Kyle, what do you think about this move?
I'm excited about it. I think it's like a really good opportunity for the city of Brooklyn because they got a really strong fan base and they got like a really cool culture there. But the only thing about it is just unfortunately having to wait a year to see what it's fully going to be like. But I feel like they definitely got the pieces around it to make it something special for the next few years. So I'm excited. I'm more excited about it than the Knicks fans are for sure.
Yeah, for sure. The fact that they didn't have to trade any of their pieces that they had there, that's just crazy to me. They have so many guards, so that's going to be interesting how that works out with Kyrie. They got Spencer Dinwiddie. They got, I can't remember the other dude's name. Karis LeVert. But a very good team. So it's going to be interesting to see how they work that. I see that being another Terry Rozier type situation for him. But to add KD and to add Kyrie, man, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. P. Rob, what do you think about this move?
Like Cal and James, I'm excited too, just because it like balances out the powers of the East and the West now. So the super team, the dynasty as they call it, the Warriors now have been disassembled for injuries and what have you now. But now you have KD and possibly you have Kawhi, both in the East, two of the easily top 3 small forwards in the league, and you have LeBron on the other side. So I think it'll be interesting to see now how things balance out and make just the NBA more interesting as a whole.
I'm glad you said Kawhi, because speaking of Kawhi, I want to talk about his free agency and what I will do if he goes to the Lakers. I promise you, fans, I will go hang myself for the world to see if he goes to the Lakers. 1, they will win 80 games a season. 2, the Rockets will not get out the first round ever again. So I hope he does not go there, but I feel like he should go to the Clippers. I think that would be the best place for him. I think with KD out in the East now, it's going to be a little harder for him to go through Giannis and KD. I don't see that happening with the aging Kyle Lowry for sure, because I still think he's trash. But
he has a ring.
Yeah, he has a ring, but he's still trash. And I don't know. Kawhi's the only person that's making us wait tonight. I'm kind of upset about that.
I'm good with it.
You good with it?
Man, if you go out there and you bring a championship to Toronto, you can take all the time you want. Like, that whole story to me is just amazing. And honestly, I hope he stays in the East to make it remain kind of competitive. So if he goes to the Lakers, like you said, it's over. Like, it's over and done. I don't think they're going to win 80 games. They're going to win 65 because you got to do load management. So,
I'll give them 78 wins.
74. Because they got to do some load management for him and LeBron. But I'd rather have him stay on the East Coast. But if he goes to the Clippers, I think it'll be one of those things that's good for the city of LA to have both those teams be in the limelight together at the same time, because I always hit or miss with which one's good, and then it'll make it more exciting to stay up for those games, because it was kind of hard to, like, I was on the East Coast this past NBA season, so it's kind of hard to stay up for them, but I think it'll be really good.
I think also, just piggybacking off Cal, I think it'll be good because I think if he doesn't in LA, it'll light a fire for like under LeBron getting at the exact same place, same arena. It's like, oh, yesterday Kawhi dropped 35, 10, and maybe 6. LeBron was like, oh, bet. I mean, he dropped it. Okay. Well, watch what I do tonight. And so I think it'll definitely be good for the fans and the popularity and stuff, and just keep it going.
James?
Yeah, it's healthy competition. Like Pat said, if Kawhi come out one night, drop 40, and LeBron, he already heard this talk of Kawhi being the only superstar to win, Finals MVP in both conferences. So you already know he's shooting for that. I gotta show him that I am still king. I personally think I would like him to stay in the East. I would like him to stay in Toronto just because, the West has been so dominant for so long. So if you get him in Toronto, you still got Milwaukee, even though they lost Brogdon today. They still got most of their parts. And then now you got Brooklyn, who was a playoff team. So all you're doing now is swapping out, D'Angelo Russell for Kyrie Irving, and at least 4 years for Kyrie Irving and DeAndre Jordan, which is probably still going to be a playoff team. So, yeah. And the West thing got better as well because Utah is going to be something to deal with, I feel.
Utah is going to be a problem. For those of you who do not know, Mike Conley from the Memphis Grizzlies was traded to Utah for a bucket of mop water. And
we got Jay Crowder, sir. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry. Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder, my bad. For Jay Crowder and Kyle Korver and somebody else. I don't think it really matters. But I think they're going to be a major problem because I think that's really what Donovan Mitchell was missing, just someone else who can handle the ball and create plays. But as someone who doesn't think Donovan Mitchell is that good, I still don't think they're going to be just amazing, but they're going to be a better team than what they were last year.
And they got Bojan today, which is good.
They got who?
Bojan.
Oh, nice. Oh, okay. That's a nice little pickup for them. So that could be something different. They got some shooting. They got some defense. Yeah, I didn't know that. So that's pretty good. And the next person I want to get to, this puzzled me when I heard this. Why did Al Horford go to the 76ers? I don't understand. What are y'all thoughts on that? That's interesting.
I think Al kind of sees the writing on the wall of where the Celtics are going. I think they're trying to transition, not of course tanking, but transition more to a younger team. And given his age, and he can see this might be a kind of slight rebuilding process. So let me go to a team that's kind of set in a sense. I was got to add in what I add in, leadership and good defensive minutes and give Joel Embiid a little reprieve during the game. So I think he started on the wall and Kyrie left, which I think they were pretty close. So he's like, well, let me go here. I know we can win and possibly got a good chance to win the championship. So he just took the opportunity and went and played with the Sixers.
Yeah, and I think it's for him. It's probably like you said. It's like an underrated best case scenario because with everyone kind of with Kyrie leaving Boston and them trying to figure out their chemistry and losing some pieces, it's like, well, this team I was on that was a legitimate championship contender for the while I was here. Now it's going through this semi rebuilding stage. So if I'm an older player and I still want to have a chance to win now, well, a team like Philly would give you that opportunity. But as we saw, Philly wasn't able to overcome the hurdle of what Kawhi Leonard was this past postseason. But in addition, like that, may be able to help them get over the hump. Not saying they'll win a championship, but it gives them the opportunity to stay in the East, which won't be as competitive as the West would be. So it gives them a nice chance to kind of still be in contention for the time he has left. So.
Yeah, I completely agree because if you look at it, like Calvin said, we got to wait for KD for a year. So, and then you don't know what Kawhi's going to do yet. Mm-hmm. Boston, they, with the signing of Kemba, losing Horford, losing Rozier, losing that, you don't know what's going on in Boston. So really, all you got right now that's going to be basically the same as last year is Milwaukee and Philadelphia, and Philadelphia was one bounce away from the Eastern Conference Finals had Kawhi shot not fail. So he's just like, let me see if maybe I can push them. You got Jimmy Butler out of there it looks like he's going to be in Miami in the signing trade, so you're going to have them locker room problems.
So let me ask the question then. Because when I look at their roster, I see no J.J. Redick, I see no Jimmy Butler, and we're talking about two of the only shooters they had, they're gone. Do you think that Al Horford, Ben Simmons, who I still don't see any development, and Joel Embiid, do y'all think that is enough to win a championship?
Well, they still have Tobias Harris. I think, like I said, they did lose a good amount of shooting, some of the shooters, but I think Tobias Harris can kind of increase his shot volume a little bit and kind of offset a little bit. But then, at the same time, we also got to remember the player who made all the plays at the end of the game is now gone. No, that's true. But
he's now gone, so.
That is true, but I think it all going to come down to me, in my opinion, honestly, on how healthy Embiid can stay, to be honest. Because a lot of the offense, I feel, would be funneled, of course, through him because obviously Ben Simmons couldn't shoot if you gave him a fully loaded gun. So he's a wash on offense at best. And but like I say, if Embiid can stay healthy, I think he can help keep games close and possibly finish them down the stretch with Horford giving him some spells here and there, stuff like that. So I think they can get it done with this roster, possibly with a couple of lucky bounces of their way.
Yeah, I don't think. Oh, go ahead, John.
I'm not saying this is the best time because it's so wide open. When was the last time it was wide open like this?
LeBron left. When LeBron left.
2 years ago. When that man came to the Western Conference.
Exactly, but now it's in flux because you don't. As much as we love Kyrie, him by himself or him leading the team we saw in Boston, that might not work as well as people wanted. So we still gotta. So I think, like if you can keep him be healthy, like Pat said, which if you have Horford taking some of that pressure off of him at times, hopefully they'll stay up there. That's a big hope.
And one thing I also want to talk about is, as we're talking about the Eastern Conference and we're talking about all these teams that's coming up, like the Nets, like the 76ers, we also got to talk about the teams that are going to be going down, like Boston and the Bucks, because we're talking about the Bucks, but we're not talking about how Malcolm Brogdon was traded away, and he's one of their most important players. Nikola Mirotic is going back to Europe to play for Barcelona, so that kind of leaves their bench like it's not looking too good. And I mean they're keeping Chris Middleton, but he's going to be taking up most of their cap space. So where do y'all see the Bucks moving towards? Like where do you see them going? Because Giannis, of course, is ascending as a player, but we all know that you can't just do it by yourself.
That's true. Well, hopefully they can. I haven't looked at all the free agents, but I'm assuming there's somebody like Marco Bellinelli out there, like that they can add in, who knows his role and knows just I give you the ball, shoot it type of thing. Because I do like Mirotic. He's a really good player, so that's a big loss. And so don't get me wrong, Malcolm Brogdon is a big loss too. But I think just if they keep the system in place that they have, just add in some pieces to fill those roles, I think they can still be competitive. Given that, like I say, it's the East. And no offense to the East, but it's the East, and we all know what that means. And so I think that they can still be all right and can keep afloat if they just plug and play.
Yeah, I don't think, other than the Malcolm Brogdon thing, I don't think it's anything that was so crucial to where they won't go back to the Eastern Conference Finals or at least be in the semifinals for the run, just because Pat said it's the East. And even with that, kind of going back a little bit to the Al Horford thing, it's because all these moves are happening, Philly's still kind of good position because it's you got Al Horford and you minus Jimmy Butler, but at the same time, Al Horford's a really good pick and pop kind of player. Ben Simmons pretty good, shows that he's pretty good with as far as distributing the ball. So it's even with those type of moves, it's now to where I think the Sixers maybe overshadow the Bucks a little bit, especially with the fact that they're just missing those small pieces. But at the same time, like Pat said, from free agency, you can probably fill some of those voids.
Hey, James, you mind if I ask something real quick? I think it's also one more thing that I think one more undertone that's kind of important to look at. I think it depends on how Giannis develops his shooting. I think will also help. Mm-hmm. And given how Giannis is, I believe that he will, because he's that hungry of a player. And given how he lost, I'm pretty sure things a lot. So I think that he working his shot. I'm not saying he'll go up like 40% from three, nothing like that, but I think he working enough for it to go up, and he contribute from that to help his team to get over the hump of losing some of that shooting.
It's funny because that's exactly where I was going to go, because the difference between Giannis and Ben Simmons to me is at least Giannis will attempt. Ben Simmons won't even attempt a shot out of 4 feet, which is crazy. It drives me crazy that he won't even attempt a shot. But with Giannis, at least I know he works, and we've seen the progression from rookie season to now to MVP season. We've seen him adding facets to his game.
MVP season with an asterisk.
Yeah, it's to each his own. You pick what you like, but so I've seen the growth, and I know that he is going to be in the gym working out. With Ben Simmons, that's still a thing for me. I've liked him since LSU. I always say, he gonna work on that jump shot. And after this year, after seeing that, I just thought maybe he would attempt one in the All-Star game, show us something. No, he just won't shoot the ball. It drives me crazy. So, with it being wide open, Milwaukee did take some steps back to me with the losses they had, but I still feel like they will be in Eastern Conference Finals.
So nobody has that little fear. I have a little hesitation that although Giannis is a great player, he kind of got exposed a little bit.
Oh no question.
Well, do y'all think y'all think now going into a new season, teams probably caught on enough to where it kind of slows him down?
But let me say this. I think it's more when you talk about exposing. I think it has to do more with other teams' roster and the people that they can put on the floor. Everybody don't have Marc Gasol, who's takes up big presence. Everybody doesn't have Kawhi. We're talking about Kawhi being, well, not to y'all, but Kawhi is probably the best defender in the NBA. So it's
I think he's arguably
realistically
top two. Top two. I give him top two.
Okay, he's the top one defender in the NBA. So everybody doesn't have that lineup, and regular season is always different from playoffs. When you have the potential to play a team 7 times, everybody's weaknesses get exposed in a 7-game series, and it's more about what are you going to do to combat that, and how are your teammates going to help you do that. I don't think they're going to win because Malcolm Brogdon was so important to them. He was their big shot maker, their playmaker. He played defense, and Eric Bledsoe, although I like him, he can't make those shots that Malcolm Brogdon makes. And we see what happens when you can't shoot in the NBA. It's hard to win games. So that is my only reservation about them. But I have no question that Giannis is going to get better as far as shooting goes. And if he gets any better doing anything else, then the NBA is in trouble.
It's not fair.
Then they're in trouble.
I think to answer your question, Cal, just add a little bit to what Jeremy said. I think the exposed thing, for example, I would say that's for somebody who I don't think will put in work, for example, like a Brandon Ingram. I have no fear, like Jeremy was saying, that Giannis is okay, they did this to me, so what I need to work on this offseason to make sure it doesn't happen to me again. Yeah. So I think it's a bifactorial thing where both those things are kind of moving the same direction. And I think he'll move enough in progression of his game to offset or not be negated by a certain defensive teams play against him and stuff like that.
No, I agree completely. I think he saw it just like we all saw it. So. Mm-hmm.
And another thing I want to get to, the Warriors. They re-signed Klay. KD's gone. Their bench is depleted. Where do they go from here? I love Steph Curry offensively. I love Klay Thompson, but he's not going to come back till mid-season.
Mm-hmm. February.
Draymond Green's still there. But where did they go? Sean Livingston was a waste. I don't remember him doing anything memorable this season or in the playoffs. I mean, Andre Iguodala, which I told y'all, I remember a long time ago, I told y'all he's the most athletic player in the NBA, and y'all laughed at me. Y'all laughing at me. Look what this kid is doing now. Look what he's doing.
I don't think he's most athletic for the NBA, though.
He was then.
Not even then.
At that time.
That's a different argument. But he was not the most. I didn't think it was LeBron either.
Okay, we're not getting off topic.
Okay, you're right.
Not getting off topic.
We won't.
But where do y'all think they go from here?
It's funny. So I'm thinking right now. I don't think Curry's had a team this bad since Monte Ellis left. I don't think, bro. I'm trying to think in my head like I have faith that Bob Myers will get something done, but I'm looking like what is there
to
explore? Like we get DeMarcus Cousins back. Like what? Like honestly, Jeremy, I don't know the answer to that question. I just have faith that given the front office and what they show that they can do, that they will get something done to be still relatively competitive and not drop off in this new stadium they have, which they have to definitely make sure they kind of live up to that whole hype. So I think. I don't know, but I have faith that they'll make something happen.
Yeah, I don't even know how to. I mean, I'm sure they're in the same boat that I am. Like, I haven't even processed that. Like, it's one of those things. The way they season ended, it's like you had all these crazy injuries that happened at the same time. It was like a perfect storm. And then the story goes from that to, okay, Kawhi brought a championship to Toronto. Then as soon as that's over, you got the crazy NBA free agency that's happening. So I haven't even processed what Golden State can do and what they should do. But at the same time, it's like there's such a, for at least I guess for our generation of watching, like there's such a storied franchise that this is going to be a bad chapter for them probably for the next couple of years. And hope, like Pat said, you got to fill up that new arena you got. But I just don't even see anything on like the table that they can do to be top 4 or top 5 in the West. So it's gonna be really tough, and it's gonna be a really trying time for Steph Curry, especially with Klay Thompson being out, and a lot of people are already questioning his legacy already. So now that you're in this, the valley is so low for you right now. How are you gonna overcome
Steph
that?
Curry's room for error this upcoming season is so small.
Yeah,
because this will literally make or break where he is in the pantheons of point guards. Forget the greats, because I don't think he's an all-time great. I'm just talking about in point guards, period. And I know you're a Steph Curry fan, James. So, realistically, what do you think they can do this upcoming season with no Klay until like February?
Well, Steph would have to go like Super Saiyan, just out of nowhere. I'm talking his unanimous MVP season on like steroids with the team he's probably gonna have going into this year. I just like y'all said, I don't see, like, I trust the front office, but I just don't see where they can go at this point. Like, everybody, when have we had a free agency where it's like everybody on the first day like, well, I'm going here. Yeah. It's like the first day. Like, so what's left? I mean, everybody's talking about the Knicks are going to try to offer DeMarcus higher than what the Warriors are going to offer him.
And he's going to take it. He's going to take that for sure.
He's going to take it, correct, because it's New York, and he can be the man there. So he's going to go there, you know.
No, he cannot be the man there. Julius Randle is there. Don't be disrespectful.
That's what the Warriors should have got.
Excuse me, I forgot about Julius Randle, who is a good player, don't get me wrong, but okay. So I feel like once that Achilles popped on him, that was the dynasty. The dynasty popped once Kevin Durant's Achilles popped. And it's going to be some dark days ahead, and they're going to have to figure it out, because as much as a Steph Curry fan as I am, I don't believe he can't LeBron a team. We saw that in one game in the finals where he has 47 and nothing. Yeah. There you go. Lost.
Yeah. I think the dynasty left when Draymond got, told Kevin Durant what he told Kevin Durant.
I mean,
that's what.
Okay, I'm not going to be disrespectful though and say that they're not a dynasty, because they are.
Yeah, we're saying their era of being the most dominant team in the league, I think has come. I think it's come to a close. I think
whether or not KD got hurt, he was leaving anyway.
Yeah, I do too. It was really Clay, but still.
Yeah, it was coming to a close regardless.
Yeah, it was too fast. He had it set up to announce today anyway, so I feel like you had to have that in you. The Achilles might have just been like, okay, yeah, I'm making the right decision. Yeah. The doctors didn't let me know what was going on like I wanted them to, so I can just bounce up out of here. It was too fast of a decision for it to be
Yeah, it just wasn't graceful enough as you would have hoped they would enter. Yeah.
Yeah, and Jerm, to your point about like that margin of error being so low for him now, is that if they would have won that championship, then it's like a three-peat. Everybody's on high in California. KD can leave.
So
Steph can have a trash year, and they're like, you know what? We had this golden years of sunshine, but with the way they end it, it's kind of like it's gonna be so tough being him because he's gonna have to be that guy.
Also, one last thing to add. Honestly, if I was Steph, I would be smiling right now because, like Jeremy brought up earlier, this is your chance to prove where you should fall all the time, and so I think he should think of it. Of course, as a challenge, and I think he will. I don't know what he's going to do, but I think he will. So I think if I was Steph, I'd be smiling like, okay, everybody who doubted me and say these things about me, this is my chance to show you guys that I am that man, you know. So we'll see.
I'm going to be completely honest with y'all right now. I might be going crazy out of my mind. I don't see him averaging more than like 21, 22 points a game.
That sounds crazy. That sounds crazy.
Let me explain why.
Sounds crazy.
Let me explain why. Since Clay got there, he has never, ever, ever been double teamed like he's about to be double teamed.
That's true.
Ever.
That's true.
The floor has been so spaced because they've always had shooters. They don't got that no more. Clay ain't gonna be playing.
You don't think he'll get the James Harden benefit?
That's what I was going to say. I was going to have two James. I think he got a lot of free throw line.
It's different when you are driving the ball, and it's different when you are taking those contested shots like James Harden does. Steph Curry don't take those shots.
They're not. He shoot from like 40 feet. They ain't contested. Nobody's contesting. No.
How many 40 feet jumpers you think he gonna make in the game? Honestly,
he won't make any.
The thing about Steph Curry is he's not a volume shooter. So we're going to see what he looks like as a volume shooter next year, for sure. But one more thing on free agency. What do y'all think about this Kemba Walker to Boston? Does that elevate Boston, or does that keep Boston kind of where they're at after losing Kyrie?
I see it as a pseudo in between Isaiah Thomas, Boston Celtics, and Kyrie Irving, Boston Celtics, in the sense that Kemba is the same size, just about as IT, but his games plays more like Kyrie, and I think it also depends on Jeremy. How much does Jason Tatum grow this year? I mean, you call it sophomore slump maybe, but it's also a bit of Brandon Stevens' offense trying to let Gordon Hayward take all these shots and all this. So you kind of say a slump, but you can't really call it that because he wasn't getting the right amount of shot attempts. So I think it comes down to how well he plays this year, and I think Kemba will do his thing. So I think they can be reasonable. They're not going to be in the finals, no, but I think they can still be a really competitive team, at least top four, in my opinion.
But it's interesting you say that because when I look at Kemba and how he plays, he fits more in the Brad Stevens system than Kyrie ever did.
Yes,
and I think Kemba can really elevate that team. But like you said, if Jason Tatum doesn't develop, if Gordon Hayward doesn't get better, now keep in mind, now he's a full year outside of the injury. So now we're expecting to see Utah Jazz Gordon Hayward. And if that can happen and Jason Tatum can do that, they can keep Jaylen Brown happy. Terry Rozier is gone now. So that eliminates some of the locker room tension that they had. So I think I love Kyrie, but I think Kemba is better for this team. I mean, I know that sounds stupid. It sounds dumb because Kyrie's obviously a better player. But the way Kemba plays and the way Kyrie plays is totally different. Totally different. Kyrie is more of an ISO. Kemba likes the pick and rolls. Kemba can more of a catch and shoot point guard than Kyrie is. And I just like his fit with the team. What do you think, Calvin?
I feel like, kind of like Pat was saying, I don't think it's going to be, to me, they didn't get much better or worse. It's just the fact that, what were you going to do? If you know Kyrie want to leave and you know all these things are going to happen, and what are you going to do? You might as well get a player like Kemba, who's no scrub at all, but I don't see him just being that guy that's going to elevate them to be able to do anything. But here's the thing, it's going to be unfairly shown against, because everybody's going to compare the Kemba season to Kyrie season. But the problem is going to occur is that the Celtics may do well and may be great, and may seem like they're elevated or doing better than they were with Kyrie, but that, to me, is going to depend on what's happening in the East.
But this is the thing, though. See, but that plays another part in the Celtics players developing. Because this season, Kyrie probably had the best season, all-around season, they've ever had. Not just scoring as far as passing, as far as defense, as far as rebounding, all that. This is probably his best season we've ever seen. But just because of Jason Tatum's not doing what he was supposed to do, or Gordon Hayward's not doing what he's supposed to do, of course they didn't look as good as they're supposed to. So I feel like even with Kemba in there, if those two players, in Gordon Hayward and Jason Tatum, if they just show up, their team is going to look a lot better than they did with Kyrie. And that's no knock on Kyrie, but that just has to do with the team as a whole. And keep in mind, they also lost Al Horford. And that's going to be a huge loss because he did everything for that team. So we're going to see what they can pick up in free agency, maybe like a Nerlens Noel or something. They're going to have to get somebody because this is, I don't know. I don't know. But Brad Stevens' offense has never really used big men anyway. So I like the Kemba signing. I don't know. That's an interesting unit that they're gonna have there. That is gonna be an interesting unit.
I think what it does is what we've seen from Brad Stevens, at least since he been back at least since he's been in the NBA, and I'm glad Pat brought up the Isaiah Thomas years. When it comes to players that we don't think, I just don't think his system works a lot with superstars.
Right.
And you might not consider Kyrie a superstar, but that ego thing you got, he just said himself.
Offensively, he is a superstar.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, but when you put players like Isaiah Thomas, Gordon Hayward, even then without Kyrie last year when he went down hurt, and they're playing better, it's because his system thrives in that. So when you put a player like Kemba, who's been in Charlotte his whole career, who was, wasn't taken seriously at UConn, and you put him in that system, I think that's why it may seem as, even though he's not a better player than Kyrie, he fits better into that system that Brad Stevens runs.
Mm-hmm. I think another X factor, this last aside, is how much more does Jaylen Brown also develop?
Yeah.
I think depending on how the jump that he can make this season can make a huge impact to offset some of those losses that they had also.
It's a lot of question marks in Boston that I felt was unevenly put on Kyrie's shoulders.
Right.
But I think this year, I'm telling you, it's just something about Terry Rozier moving on. I can see Jaylen Brown getting his shine while still allowing Gordon Hayward and Jason Tatum to do what they need to do. Because Kemba Walker is not that player where he just needs the ball like Kyrie does. So I could see them working together, but the loss of Al Horford is really, really going to hurt them. Mm-hmm. It's really going to hurt them. But the next thing I want to do, this is way too early, predictions for each team. For wins, we're gonna do over
right quick,
under. Yes, sir.
Before
Go ahead.
you go there, right quick. What do you think? What are we thinking about Jimmy Butler to Miami?
Doesn't really matter to me.
Well, I only bring it up because as a Mavericks fan, in that signing trade, they gave us Goran Dragic.
Yeah, I mean, but this is the thing. I don't think Goran Dragic is really gonna help y'all at all. Luka is going to have the ball in his hands. Goran Dragic can't really shoot. He's not really a shooter, and he doesn't play defense. Yes. So, I mean, I don't know what Jimmy Butler... Yeah, I don't know what Jimmy Butler was thinking. But, okay, since we're on that, I got to talk about my Rockets before we get started. I got to. I got to vent, okay? Let me vent. Now... going into the Chris Paul trade, I understood what we were doing as far as we're getting him now because we're going to try to win. I get it. This dude is going to make $38, $40, $41 million over the next 3 years. 2 years or 3 years. 3 years. Over the next 3 years, 38, 40, and $41 million. Clint Capella, who I despise, got signed to a $90 million contract. He called out the Warriors, called them out, and gave me 6 points and 6 rebounds a game. The one shot we have of getting to the NBA Finals is now went down the drain. The Lakers are clearly the favorites just because they have 2 of the top 5 players in the NBA. They can literally put us 4 around them, and we'll probably still make the playoffs. Where do you think the Rockets can go from here? We can't trade Chris Paul. We're working on trading Capella, but we're not going to get anything back worth the trade. James Harden is unhappy. Chris Paul is unhappy. It's a lot of players on the Rockets that are unhappy with the way they play. Do you guys think that this can all be fixed with the new coach?
Yep. Yes. I just do not believe that D'Antoni's system can win you anything. Haven't believed it since he was in Phoenix. I just don't see it.
I mean, I didn't either. But
I think a mix of his system, like James said, and also the fact that he doesn't have the cachet to like, or maybe it's not his personality to try to like get more out of James Harden. And I'm not blaming James Harden. Don't get me wrong, but after a while, you have to have a weight with your voice as a coach to be able to like bring the ship back to where it should be, you know. And so I think that's also a reason because the Rockets from the past season, not last season, you know, were moving the ball, actually playing true offense, getting the right shots and stuff. Looked really good, but last year it just looked like one-on-one ISO, pick-up ball.
But by that note, though,
the whole time.
Do you feel like the injury situation, you don't think that played a role in that? Because once you play a certain way for so long, it becomes the identity of your team.
Mm-hmm. But it looks like last year y'all lost your identity. So Chris Paul got hurt. That's true. He was the secondary ball handler next to James Harden, but his usage rate was nowhere near James Harden's.
Right. 55th.
It was
tied with Buddy Hield.
Nowhere near. But I'm sorry, Joe, even in that, with respect to that, I still think that if you just watch the game itself, it just did not look even close like any resemblance of that. And I think that hurt a lot. Because you're just like, all right, James, you can drop whatever you want to drop, but nobody on the team is making shots. Nobody's getting hot. No, nobody, you know. So I think he has to move on just from the fact that they're tired of hearing his voice in a sense, and so they need to get a new voice in there and shake things up a bit.
I don't know. Like I heard you guys saying about essentially they're kind of in the same situation as the Warriors, where it's kind of like, what can you do? What should you do? But my fear is that, like you said, once you've been playing away for so long, you have an identity. Now, the timing of what will happen with D'Antoni can be super detrimental because I feel like the players that he have, with James Harden having the high volume of just doing whatever he wants, if you take away the coach like D'Antoni at the wrong time and you bring someone else in that kind of shakes up this locker room where you already have 2 of your star players allegedly and not allegedly bickering or going back and forth, then not only have you lost that identity of that team, now it's like I feel like you get in a situation is, oh, we brought this new coach in, but I'm the team.
But now I'm gonna play devil's advocate with you. So what if they could bring in the coach, Mark Jackson, who is stern and has that cachet and has that voice, who's played in the league, who understands what it takes to win? What if they brought in a coach that could not build back up the relationship between James and Chris Paul? Because, I mean, they're grown men. You know, once you don't like somebody, that's the end. But like I was telling you guys earlier, you don't have to necessarily have to like the people that you work with in order to be successful. No. And I think bringing in a new coach with a defensive mindset, because offensively we already know what James Harden can do. We know even though Chris Paul is older, he's still a playmaker. He's still, you know, one of the elite passers in this game still. And I think just having a new voice would make such a big difference. And so it could go either way. Yeah. And I think it's more of, I mean, if something is not broke, don't fix it. But we broke as fuck. Okay, I mean, 0 for 26 in the previous year. 27, 0 for whatever. whatever. And then this year, going cold in the fourth quarter, shooting threes. Like, I don't know. You need a coach that'd be like, you know what, guys, it's okay to take a mid-range jumper. It's okay we don't have to shoot this three. Let's move the ball, get a better shot. And I think hearing that, even though that's not James Harden's style, I've seen him play a different way in OKC. I've seen him play a different way when Kevin McHale was there. It wasn't James Harden. James Harden used to be one of the best mid-range scorers in the game until D'Antoni got there. So, I don't know.
That's scary, man. Sorry, Pat.
No. Look,
that idea though, like of Mark Jackson being there, like an example, that's scary to me because it's like I understand his personality and what he did for the Warriors, but then you have like these two young pups that are coming up and they need that mentor like role and like relationship. Like I'm gonna show you the way. Then you got Chris Paul, like that's just gonna be barking at you, and I don't think Mark Jackson the type of dude to back down from it. And then you got James Harden, who I feel like that would be a time when his leadership is really, really tested.
But sometimes that's what you need.
Yeah.
I feel like we didn't have that in the locker room. We didn't have people testing each other. And at the end of the day, like anything that can make you better, you have to do it. You have to do it. Just think about your relationships with your parents. How many times have you yelled at your parents? How many times have your parents yelled at you? But that's made your relationship better because then you feel like you can express how you want to express yourself and then it not be something that they hold against you. And I think D'Antoni is the type of coach, he's just like, oh, okay, he's not really
he's not going to shake it up.
Yeah, he's not going to shake it up. He's going to go at whatever is going on. And it's like, and I love his offense. Like his offense is revolutionary. I mean, they were shooting threes before threes were even popular, So I love his vision on offense. But when you playing elite teams, like that doesn't always work. And I think that having a different coach with a different voice, a different way to play, I think that'd be good for the Rockets. Because we can't get any more players. And that's the thing. Everybody wants to just say, we'll just get better players, but it's not that easy. So, and I hate to do that to coaches, but that's like the only thing that they can do. That's the only thing they can do is get a different coach.
I'll say one last thing before we move on. So this is just my perspective on outside watching James Harden. He's akin to me like a much better, but a Darren Williams type of player. And let me explain what I mean by that. Let me explain what I mean by that.
He got the nerve. 2 shots.
If you guys don't know, his fans should know, that's Jeremy's favorite player. Not T-Mac's all-time favorite, but Darren was one of Jeremy's favorite players. I mean about this. I think James Harden, his career is more enamored by being great in the sense of offense and numbers and stuff. Yeah. And so with that being said, I think where he's at now, he's in his prime, right? And so he sees with D'Antoni, he gets what he wants. And he put up historic numbers, like numbers that's video game.
Stupid numbers.
And so I think you bring a coach who's more stern, who's telling him, James, hey, maybe you should change this shot selection. And he's like, what do you mean? This worked for me last year. I put up 36. Did you not watch me play? I think he'll be less receptive to changing all the way. And so I just don't see how that worked with a Mark Jackson per se, but because given that Mark Jackson didn't win a title, he's played in the league, like Jeremy said, all of that, but he didn't win a title, so it's kind of hard to say, hey, I know how to get to a title, So I think Mark Jackson wouldn't be per se the answer, but I think that it's kind of hard. It all depends on how much James Harden will buy in to the idea of like trying to convince him, hey, you can still put up decent numbers, but we should change this up now because this is how you're going to actually win. And so I don't know. I don't see James Harden, as like that type of winner. But it remains to be seen. He's still a relatively young guy, so we'll see.
James, anything?
Well, every time I've been on a podcast, I've mentioned that Mark Jackson needs a coaching job in the NBA. So
I agree.
Of course, I believe that. And I do agree with Pat and Kyle where it's like you run the risk of alienating your superstar if you bring in somebody you're not really, fooling with. But once again, to play devil's advocate, like Jeremy said, I've seen James Harden play differently.
Mm-hmm.
He was fine being the sixth man in Oklahoma City. He didn't want to leave. He got traded. He couldn't control it. He was fine with that. He was fine with Kevin McHale, where he was averaging a double-double, averaging like 28 and 11. I think James Harden is more go with the flow than we anticipate. I think it's just when Tony say you can do whatever you feel, he's just like, all right, well, if that's what you need me to do. And of course, he don't think, well, Chris might get hurt. I don't know what's going on there. Capella, don't know what's going on there. But I know if I got this and I do what I do, the chance of winning is high. So I believe he will change just as long as you can bring it to him in a way where you say, like Pat said, winning is this is what we need to do to win.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just hard for me to believe that. It's like it's like we tell somebody, okay, you a billionaire. Now you'll be a millionaire. Like you going backwards. The thing, he's been progressing throughout his career going forward. So it's fine he buys into that. But now you want him to go back. I can see him accepting the idea of going backwards.
But if you tell someone,
I can't see it.
But if you tell someone, yeah, you were a billionaire, we're gonna make you this millionaire. But at the end of the day, you're going to be the biggest billionaire ever. I think they would do that.
When they become a millionaire?
Because I think if you look at James Harden, I think he will go back to the drawing board if you can promise him that this will be the difference between beating a team in the Western Conference Finals and beating a team in the first round. Because once you get to the Western Conference Finals so much, bro, it's just like, dang, am I ever going to win? And right now, it's all up to him, like you said. It's his mental, whether he chooses what he wants to do. Does he want to be remembered because he put up these extraordinary offensive numbers, or do he want to be with the elites of having a championship? Charles Barkley don't have a championship. Allen Iverson don't have a championship. So it's great players who don't have championships, but their focus was on winning. They got there. James Harden has not gotten there yet.
How old is James Harden?
I think he's 28 or 29.
29. And see, a new coaching change may be beneficial if he can buy into that idea, but at the same time, it's like you said, you get to these Western Conference Finals and everything, but at the end of the day, you still got AD and LeBron in the same place. So it's
Speaking of AD and LeBron, some of these players coming up who've come after LeBron, this is a question I have for all three of y'all. Do you think they've developed the type of attitude where they've seen that LeBron ain't never really had a coach? You get what I'm saying? He's never had that coach where you just LeBron is paying attention to what he's saying, or LeBron has always been probably the highest IQ, basketball IQ on the court. So do you think these younger players that come after him are like, well, I don't really need that type of coaching because, LeBron did it. Granted, they not LeBron, but sometimes I think they see that type of stuff and it's just like, well, I can do what he's doing.
But this is the thing, though. This is the thing. When you look at LeBron, we're talking about probably the most well-conditioned athlete ever. Maybe him and Karl Malone, those are the two. And we're talking about someone who takes care of his body. We're talking about someone who knows the game. We're talking about someone who studies the game. We're talking about someone who puts in the work. So to say that they see LeBron doing this, and that, I feel like as an NBA player, you have to understand where you are. LeBron is, to me, he's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. So it's different conversation, different day. Okay, different conversation, different day. Okay, he's top two. Can we do that?
But he not to.
Yeah, top two, not to. You know what I'm saying? So so it just, you just have to know you can't do what he's doing until you've accomplished what he has accomplished. So it's hard to say I don't want a great coach, because if you don't have the IQ, a lot of players in the NBA, not even gonna lie, their basketball IQ is very, very low, very poor. It's very poor. So to see a player like LeBron having his high IQ and his love for the game and just his willingness to go out and do what he needs to do to be great, he's the total opposite of a James Harden or a Brandon Ingram or someone, or a Ben Simmons, perfect example. How those two were, how Ben Simmons was supposed to be the next LeBron, but we have not seen anything from Ben Simmons that's different from when he came in 3 years ago. So I don't like the fact that players, and I think that's just a new age player thing, because being in, like we talked about before, growing up in AAU and where it's all about you and just having these private trainers, not playing as a team, like I think that makes a big difference. But yeah, we're like way off topic here. I want to do over and under wins for each team, way too early predictions, and we're going to start in the East. Milwaukee Bucks, 60 wins last year. Are we saying they're going to go over or under 60 wins? I, for sure, am saying under. For sure. I'm thinking 47, 48 wins max.
Jesus Christ.
I won't go that low. I think I give them a plus or minus 3 games from 60, so more likely the minus. So I give them around 57 up to 55 wins. I think because it's regular season, and I think Brogdon is a huge thing, but I they get Mitchell to like halfway through the season anyway, so I'm not counting Mirotic. Brogdon is a huge loss, but it's regular season, so I don't think his impact would hurt as much during the regular season than it would in the postseason. So I'll give him around 55, 57 wins.
Yeah, as soon as you made that statement about over and under, I was like 55. Like to me, that's like the sweet spot where I think they'll be at. Because at the end of the day, still playing in the East, they're gonna smack a bunch of teams, and I feel like he said, the Brogdon deal isn't gonna show itself into the playoffs really for the most part. So I say 55.
Yeah, I'm at 55 too. Just like you said, I believe they're gonna smack them bottom East teams. And it's easier to catch a team in the West if you're only playing them. You catch them on a back-to-back or some stuff. I think they'll get 55.
This is what I will say, guys. The reason why I go 48 is this. The Washington Wizards, with John Wall and Bradley Beal, and Dwight Howard back healthy, they're going to steal a couple games from the Bucks. The Atlanta Hawks, with all the additions they made with Cam Reddish, they're going to steal a couple games from the Bucks. So that 60-win margin is going to come down just a little bit. All those times they beat the Sixers, I don't know. It's going to be different now. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll come back to this in the season when they have about 48 wins, and then I'll be like, yeah, I was wrong.
I'll be back for that episode. I'll be back.
But found out they had 55 wins, guys.
Making it that night. On the 55th win, making it that night, the 55th win.
All right, let's go to Toronto. 58 wins last year in the championship. What do you guys see? I'm going 58 wins. I'm going to say under, for sure. Under. I just think, especially because we don't know what Kawhi doing. Because if Kawhi leaves,
I don't think they're going to have Kawhi. So
it's not even going to be close to 58 wins. If Kyle Lowry, your best player, I got 31 wins.
Excuse you, he's a Hall of Famer now. Have you not seen the reports? That was Hall of Fame.
I'm my bad. 32 wins in their
There
future.
we go.
32 wins.
So what if Kawhi stays? You think they'll hit 58 again?
I give him 53, 54.
Okay.
No, I actually will give them more, I think. And obviously I say that because I think maybe Kawhi would be even better conditioned, so he won't miss as many games. So I think that they can get just about around the same amount of game of wins, I think. Depending on his conditioning next season.
Yeah.
And that he stays on.
Yeah.
I say under. To me, aside from like Golden State, but then they were stacked. But I feel like psychologically teams have that high of doing so well. Then that next season it's like whatever, bro. We won a championship last year.
Exactly.
And then like you said,
Toronto.
If Kawhi leaves. And Kyle, I cannot stand Kyle. I'm sure he's a great dude and an amazing guy, but like if that is your best player, like I don't think.
Oh, trust me, he was the best player for the Rockets. And he won 30-something games. So I'm saying with my 30-game prediction,
that was young Kyle.
I don't even think they make the playoffs. If he's like the best.
Anunoby gonna come back and be a star, boy. OG.
I mean,
the best name in the game, boy. OG.
Pascal Siakam might take off, bro. He might take off.
Yeah, we are sleeping on Pascal. He was hooping. But let's move on. Third team in the East this year, Philadelphia 76ers. They had 51 wins last year. I'm definitely going over. I'm going to give them about 55, 56. Al Horford is going to be the difference in that, even though they lost Jimmy Butler and J.J. Redick, most of their shooting. But I think Al Horford is going to do so many things for them. It's going to make it easier. Al Horford is going to be able to be in the playmaking spot where Ben Simmons was, and that's going to put Ben Simmons around that mid-line to free throw line dunk area that he likes to be in. So I'll give them 55, 56 wins for sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if, definitely more than 51. I wouldn't be surprised if they figured it out and was the number one seed coming out of the East. I think you lost Jimmy Butler. He's a tough and tenacious defender, two-way player, but like an Al Horford, you add to that. All you did was add a guy who was a decent pick and pop kind of guy, and then you added more length.
Yeah, that front line is going to be nasty.
So
it's going to be a nasty.
I think they'll be well over 51 wins, probably number one seed.
You go ahead, James.
Okay, so here's my thing about Philadelphia, because I was high on Philadelphia all last year. I love the addition of Al Horford. I don't like Jimmy Butler. I don't like that dog leaving, but you keep Tobias Harris, you got Joel Embiid, you got Al Horford. Front line gonna be crazy, but the lane is gonna be clogged because Ben Simmons does not have a jumper. and so it's just like, are they gonna then do what they do and move Joel out to the 3-point line instead of letting him work on the inside? I do 51 again. I will go even. I just think they're gonna stay at 51 now. What they do in the playoffs could be different, but I believe regular season, they probably just going to stay at 61 because it's going to take a minute to figure it out.
Fair.
I'm going to be the only contrarian on the panel here, sir. I think they might actually go down. I think so. And I only say that because what you guys brought up, Al Horford is a nice player, yes, but let's be honest. He's a veteran. He's an aged player, okay? Mm-hmm. Joel Embiid health is up in the air. We don't know. The stuff he has, it doesn't get any better, and it only gets worse. His size is just – so his health is a big question. Ben Simmons, I have no faith in his development of a shot or their ability to develop shooters because as we see Markelle Fultz forgot how to shoot when he went there. And four, you lost J.J. Redick. I like Tobias Harris, but you lost J.J. Redick, and I think – second to Clay, he's probably the quickest catch-and-release shooter that was in the game. And so I think that's going to hurt them a lot and their lack of spacing. So I don't think they'll drop off a lot from 51, maybe 48, 49, maybe. But I don't think that they'll get 51 to go above 51.
You know what's funny? That's the first thing we all agree on, that this boy Ben Simmons ain't doing nothing. That's the first thing. I think everybody touched on Ben Simmons when they went. I just thought that was funny.
I believe in strapped up Ben.
Okay, if you're gonna die with strapped up Ben too. All right, we're gonna move to the Boston Celtics. 49 wins last year. Oh man. This is tough. This is tough for me. No. I'm going to go even. I think Kemba is going to fit perfectly. He's going to get in there, and it's going to be like he's been there. I think Jason Tatum is going to show up. I think Gordon Hayward is going to show up. And I think Jaylen Brown is going to do what we all thought he was going to do. Al Horford is going to hurt in the playoffs, but this is the regular season we talking about. I think, like I said, they can plug in like a New Orleans Noel, Willie Cauley-Stein, get the same kind of production. So I'm going to stay even at 49.
Yeah, like we talked about earlier about the switch and swap with Kemba and Kyrie. I don't think they change much at all. So I would also say 49. Unless the only thing is, because I do think Kemba's the type of player that you can plug him in and be fine, and that chemistry in the locker room will be good. So I think it will be more so they'll be more surprising in how good they are than regressing from last season. So,
So some of what Cal said, but I think they actually go up. And I think so because I think a lot has to be said about locker room chemistry. And Kyrie is my second favorite player next to Paul George. And that's neither here nor there. But I think a lot has to be said about, they were young, Tatum young, and so you don't know how to talk to Kyrie. Kyrie's a different dude, bro. Let's be honest about that. We can all see that. He's different. Special. And so how to approach him and how to, mesh with him is kind of hard to do. So I think with changing that chemistry up and also with Rozier leaving, he no longer trying to play for a contract, that stuff, I think it frees up a lot of their mentality and like I said, development also of Jaylen Brown going back to on the upward projection, and Jason Tatum. I think they will play more freely and more in Brad Stevenson's offense, as Jeremy alluded to earlier, with Kemba being a better fit. So I think that they'll go up from their last year wins.
Yeah, I agree. I think they'll go up to like 51, 52 just because he's like everybody said, Kemba's just a better fit in this system. And I think they'll be a scrappy team where they'll win games where you just think, they're not going to win tonight. They can take it off. And I think they'll just surprise a lot of people and win about 51, 52 games.
Interesting. Okay. Then we're going to move on to the Indiana Pacers. 48 wins last season. Victor Oladipo was hurt at the end of the season, but 48, that's a lot of wins. That is a lot of wins.
When does he come back? Well,
He's probably like a year. It's like a year when he got hurt. That's a pretty big injury.
So he won't be back until January, February.
Yeah.
Right, it was right around All-Star break, so probably about middle of the season.
Yeah, and they do have Malcolm Brogdon, but I don't think he's that type of player, so I'm definitely going below 48. We're going under 48. I'll give him 43-ish wins. I don't see 48 wins happening.
Yeah, I don't see 48. Maybe 40 wins. But like Jeremy said, from that 40 to 43 win, if they can win 45 games, to me, I think
that's
should.
it.
They
That's
should
a
look at that like a
successful.
good season.
That's a successful
So
season.
I think
I agree.
because that Oladipo is just like the life of that team.
Mm-hmm.
So to have him out for that long, I don't think they're going to be able to catch up and do anything.
Oh, you go ahead, James.
Okay, so I think it just depends on schedule with them because, we all thought they was going to fall off when he got hurt last year, but because they got such an easy stretch of schedule, that's how they was able to keep that seed they had last year.
True.
So let's say they start the year off, not as hard as we expected
With the
to.
Suns 3 times.
Man, true. But, I'm probably going to go under just because, you not only is Oladipo gone, you had, Darren Collison retired, and I'm pretty sure that's probably a big blow in Indiana.
Yeah, like everybody else here, I'm going under for the same reason everybody echoed. I just don't see who that player would be. I mean, is Sabonis going to be?
Especially now that they traded Bogdanovich.
Yeah, is he going to be a legend now? Is Miles Turner going to step up finally to, he's been doing good, but is he going to step up to elite center level? I doubt it, but so with that, I don't see who can take up that role Oladipo played and get them above what they were, or at least what they were at last year. So I'm going under. I'd probably say around maybe a game or two with Cal's there, but below 500, probably like 40 wins or so.
Okay. Next team, the 6th seed in the East. Now, this is going to be interesting. I can't wait to hear what y'all say about this. Brooklyn Nets, 42 games last year. I'm going above. I think DeAndre Jordan and Kyrie will be enough to get them over 42 wins. We don't know what's going on with D'Angelo Russell yet. We don't know what he's thinking. I mean, teams have to match that offer sheet that he got, and that's a big offer sheet. So I can see maybe a little tension between him and Kyrie if he's there. But I still think that's just adding Kyrie, that's going to increase their win total to me. So I'll give them about 46, 47 wins. I think Kyrie can win you a few games by himself, so I'll go 46, 47.
I'll say even. I feel like I see what you're saying. Like Kyrie can get you those 3 games that they probably could have won, but at the same time, I don't know how good would they be soon is kind of what I'm looking at, because if you start off not doing too well, you're not doing good, well then in their mind, this is my skate year. I don't have that pressure on me. KD's out a year. He's a year out from being with me, so it's kind of like, do you just ease off?
But I think that's what makes it easier, though. Because a lot of players, when they don't have that pressure on them, that's when they play the best.
I don't know. It's hard for me to believe that they would feel like that they'll do that. And then at the same time, like being in the East, like how bad you are, could y'all get a nice little pick for this throwaway season in your mind?
Fair enough.
Go ahead, Dennis. Go ahead.
No, I agree. I'm going to give him about 45 just because I do believe not only Kyrie, but DeAndre Jordan, especially watching him with the Mavericks earlier this season, he knows his role. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't pretty, but he knows his role. Rebound, play defense, and then they already got I can't think of the center name. What's his
Jared
name?
Allen.
Yeah. Yes, they got him.
The Fro stretch.
So, they're gonna be decent defensively, and like both of y'all said, no pressures on them now because KD is a year out, so I do think they'll gain a couple wins off of that. So that'll be about 45. To me, 45.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I'm definitely a Kyrie fan, so I'm not completely impartial here, but I think they'll definitely go up. Not only because of Kyrie coming, but because of the young players keep developing, and Karis LeVert hopefully comes back healthy, and he was pretty darn good before he got hurt. So I think with him coming back healthy and with Dinwiddie and Kyrie and them, I think that they can definitely get a couple games up from where they were last year.
Okay. Next seed, number 7, Orlando Magic. 42 wins. I'm easily going below. I don't see them winning 42 wins. I don't know how they won 42 games this year. I'll see about 35, 36 wins in their future. So this should be pretty easy.
Yeah. I don't think they're making the playoffs.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm out there on that one.
Aaron Gordon gonna be a legend this year.
Okay.
No. 60 wins.
60. You see him in the movie? Nah, I'm gonna go with they're definitely not gonna be what they were. They're going down.
Okay, easy. Okay, real easy. Detroit Pistons, number 8, 41 wins last year. Definitely going below, even though they signed Derrick Rose. Love Derrick Rose. Love his comeback story. It ain't enough. I see them winning about 30 games, 31 games. I don't see 40. Nowhere close to 40.
I say over. I think D Rose is a nice little addition. And then for I forgot what part of the season, Detroit looked like they were clicking a little bit. Like they seemed like it was pretty nice. And so I feel like when you add a person like Derrick Rose, who had a great comeback story and everything for this past season, I feel like you'll get some more games in. So I say over the 41 games they had. And then at the same time, it's like if Kawhi leaves, like people are gonna get the smack on Toronto and stuff like that. So.
True. True. They're gonna be smacking Toronto. True.
Smacking them. Yeah, I think over. I think Derrick Rose was a good pickup. I think we saw that he's not going to be MVP Derrick Rose, but he was a legitimate 6 Man of the Year contender last year. So I don't know if they're going to start him, bring him off the bench, what they're going to do in that regard. But I say they can get about 42. I wouldn't be surprised with 42.
Well, to be honest, anything's an upgrade from Reggie Jackson. So if they got 42 Reggie Jackson, I think they can at least get that. I think Blake can will them. And hopefully, like, Blake has definitely developed a lot, like, not just the game, but maturity level-wise. And I think he can keep helping Drummond get better. So I think they can get at least 40, the same.
It's interesting because I don't even think they're gonna barely get to 30 in my book. But we're going to go to the Charlotte Hornets. 39 wins last year, definitely below. No Kemba. Kemba got them 36 of those 39. So I'm going to say they win about 15 games.
Yep. Say no Kemba.
How much they give Terry Rozier?
Will it matter?
If they get 2 games out of my book for that year.
I guarantee
you don't want to give Kemba a max?
Terry Rozier ain't going to win them not one game.
Exactly, that's my point. But you don't want to get Kemba. Oh, that's another story. Okay.
Terry Rozier going to be this current version of Reggie Jackson instead of Eric Bledsoe. Hey, but on his own team. Yeah, they're gonna go back to being super irrelevant. Unfortunately, Michael Jordan proves to be a terrible owner at this point. So it's going.
Terrible team.
Hey, it don't, James.
Michael
It don't.
Jordan's still the best player on his team.
And they lost Jeremy Lamb too. They just sing it to the depths.
Yeah,
Just sing to the depths.
All right, now we go to number 10, Miami Heat. 39 wins last year. Even with the addition of Jimmy Butler, I'm gonna say they stay even. I don't see how any of that's going to work. Their highest paid player doesn't even play in the fourth quarter in Hassan Whiteside. So I just don't know what's going on there. So I'll give them about 35 wins next season.
I say over 39. I'm not saying it's gonna be this amazing team that wins 50 games or anything like that, but I think it'll be over 39. I think they'll be a strong playoff contender. I think they may be able, they definitely, I feel like they're the team that like to knock the Magic out or something and end up taking their spot. So. And Toronto, because 2 spots might be open. If Kawhi gone, then it's like that. So I definitely see.
Can we all just say that without Kawhi, Toronto Raptors may be the worst team in the East?
The Hornets.
Yeah.
And the Magic.
I honestly think the Magic will beat the Toronto Raptors if Kawhi is not there.
I don't know.
I ain't say all that, but I get what you're going.
I can guarantee it'll be the least watched game with Toronto and Charlotte. So
Drake ain't even gonna be at that game. When it comes to Miami, I agree completely. I think they're gonna take the Magic spot. I think Jimmy Butler can win you games at the end of the day. It might not be against good competition, but when it's those type of horrible games, Jimmy Butler can take that game, and so I think that's an Orlando spot. So I go over.
I think so too. And Jerry, boy, forget about Deion Waiters, boy.
I forgot.
Forget about the Philly legend, boy.
Top
5
7
shooting guard.
Top 7 shooting guard.
Yeah, boy. But don't forget about that, boy.
If he healthy.
I think they could. I think they could get a little bit better with Jimmy Butler. I think Jimmy Butler could get them at least 1 or 2 more wins. I think so. I think so.
I'm happy for him though, man. He get to be in Miami, be by the beach, and got some nice weather.
So go to retire.
Yeah, good.
More than Ocean Drive every day.
Yeah, that's the problem. And trust me, if they don't win, they ain't gonna have no fans there for sure. All right, now the next 2 are pretty interesting. I want to hear what y'all have to say about these. Washington Wizards, 32 wins last year. I'm going over.
I would hope so.
How long is John Wall missing part of the season?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's like normal now.
Like, I don't even comment. You know what's funny? I'll go over it. You know why I go over? Because every time he's out, they play much better and freer. Sadorensky somehow feels better, and then Bradley Beal.
And Dwight Howard's going to be back. Hey. Y'all not about to disrespect Dwight Howard, bro. Y'all not about to disrespect him, bro. He's still a pretty good player. He still gets rebounds, and he still can finish around the rim. So
he tried to develop his game this year. I saw it. Look, I hope the injury a little bit better. We talk about all the injuries, but
yeah. I mean, I ain't gonna go about much, but I'm gonna say they're gonna win more than 32.
I think it'll be
I'll give him 33 or 34.
You give him 34? I give him 40 something.
Okay.
I give him low 40s, very low 40s.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I give him low 40s.
By low 40s, I mean 34.
and that's such
like 38. A good 38.
And that's
okay.
That's just sad though. Like for that team, it's so much talent and stuff.
They put all that money into John Wall, and that boy can't even walk down the steps. That's just crazy to me. Now the next one I think is actually interesting. The Atlanta Hawks, 29 games. How many games? I know. I feel like we're all going over. But how far are we going over? Because I see them winning 42, 43 games next season.
Ooh, I'm more at like 41, 42. But I see them in the 40s.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
I really do.
They got a squad. And I just think people are going to take them light.
Mm-hmm.
And Cam Reddish was a good pickup in the draft. Mm-hmm. Trae Young, towards the end of the season, started really developing. Mm-hmm. You got Collins, who is somebody that's going to be able to be reckoned with. And once again, they are in the Eastern Conference too. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like people going to be able to beat up on them.
You got to think, bro. They're going to smack the Raptors, no Kawhi. Mm-hmm. They're going to smack the Pacers, no Victor Oladipo. They're going to beat the Bucks at least twice. So, I mean, the Cavaliers, the Knicks, the Bulls.
And it's crazy because of the whole Kawhi thing, that Kawhi and Oladipo, is that some of these teams are going to get wins because these teams are just going to get smacked throughout the season. And so I don't want to jump up there as high as you guys are, but I do think it'll be over.
I think it'll also be over, like everybody say here. I do believe in that Cam Reddish should be a pretty decent player, if not a really good player in the NBA. Jeremy, that's the debate that's not going to have here. As James said, John Collins, man, he can be a beast. Like, legit he can. And Trae Young, as we see, no defense. But his offense can be potent. It needs NBA rules.
You don't need defense.
It needs NBA rules. You don't. So yeah, I think they're definitely going to go up. And, good old Vince Carter going to push them boys.
They're still playing. They're still playing.
Collecting that check still.
Hey, that boy trying to be the number 1 3-point shooter in NBA history.
NBA history. He the longest tenured player probably. But, yeah, I think they'll definitely be up around. I'll give them about 45 wins.
All right, and I'm going to just put the last 3 in the same group. The Bulls, Cavaliers, and Knicks, I don't see them winning over 20. I don't see...
Collectively?
Why you laughing? You might be right. But I don't see the Knicks winning more than 10. I don't see the Cavaliers winning more than 10. So that's 20 right there. At max. 20 max. And the Bull, I don't know. Nah, I ain't gonna do that to Zach LaVine. I like Zach LaVine. I'll give them about 15 games. So
don't do that to the Bulls and Cavaliers. Don't put them in the same category as the New York.
That's true. That's true.
That's true. But these Knicks might not win more than 3 games, bro. That would be how crazy would that be?
They're gonna beat whoever got in his counter. That's who they gonna beat, bro.
Julius Randle going off. He going off.
He told that boy I had 45 last time we played.
Man.
Stop. Stop that. Stop the disrespect.
All right, now that we're done with the East, man, I know everybody getting tired. This is long. For those of you who are still listening, thank you for listening. But this is probably going to be the most interesting portion because we have a lot of teams with a lot of different players. Last year in the West, there was a lot of movement. Came down to the end of the season standing. So this is going to be interesting because there's like 3 teams that I'm looking at right now. I don't even see them in the playoffs. So this is going to be interesting. Golden State, 57 wins. We going over or under? I'm definitely going under. Definitely going under. But how far under are we going? Because I'm thinking, sheesh, I'm about to be real disrespectful. I'm going to say about 40 games.
Yes. I'm on that. Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
maybe I'm not being disrespectful then.
I don't think we're at all disrespectful.
Right, cool. Bad. Easy, I like that one. All right, Denver Nuggets, 54 games. What are we looking at?
Under.
You say under, James? You say under?
Say same.
I say same. I say the same. They didn't do much movement in the West. There aren't a lot of teams. Well, I don't know.
And I only say that because of how I feel about another team. Now, how y'all think Michael Porter coming back?
I was gonna bring it up, but I don't want to put too much stock in him. But that injury
he didn't even play.
That injury is that's
hard.
That's a very
That's hard.
So that's why I say, because I got another team shooting up, and we're going to get to that in a minute, but so I'm going to go under, like,
what you mean by another team? If you're thinking the team I'm
48.
thinking.
You go 48.
Then they shooting up for sure.
I'll give them at least 52 to 53 wins. I'll give them at least that.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Somewhat very near the ballpark, because I like Jeremy Cal said, I don't see any major change in their roster. Also in the West, some changes, but it's not enough to affect them.
And it's the regular
knock them
season.
down.
We're not talking about like playoffs. So we're just talking about regular season.
And they can only get better. They're young, so they can only get better for us. Like I know you're talking about later, but they're gonna get better for us mentality and like how to play the game. So,
yeah, and I seen them lose a game to the Knicks, and they definitely ain't losing next year.
They're a solid home team.
Yeah,
very solid home team.
They are real solid.
I also like Mike Malone. That's the side though.
Yeah, different story, different day. All right, number 3, Trailblazers, 53 wins. I'm going lower, not by much though. I'm gonna give them 50. I like the addition to Kent Bazemore. But I still don't think that moves the needle. So I give him 50 wins. Damian Lillard gonna do what he do. CJ gonna do what they do.
Yes, man. It's like a 50-win team. I mean, if they don't win 50 games, it'll be a kind of disappointment just because then they may have to have a tougher playoff season. But I'd say about 50 wins.
I think they may actually go up about a game or 2. Always I say this is because Evan Turner was the most useless player on that team last year who did absolutely nothing. Okay? Kent Bazemore is not a game changer, but I'm sure he'll contribute way more than Evan Turner did and all the minutes of money that he got for that team.
Was useless.
So this off of the strength of that alone, I give them like a game.
Okay, you're right. I'm going up. I think that is a very good point. That boy was garbage.
Useless.
So I'll definitely give them 54 wins instead of 53. All right. That's at least a game.
I'm going up too. I don't even fathom thinking about everything. So that helps me with my going up. But also they get Yusef back, who was balling before he got hurt last year.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give like 54, 55.
Yeah, he'll come back pretty late though. That injury he has. He'll come back really late. Yeah.
But he'll help them. Okay. Oh, this is about to be a heart wrencher for me.
Here we go.
Houston Rockets, 53 wins. I'm gonna go last.
I'm sorry, James.
I'm gonna go last.
Let me go first. I'll go first. All right, the good old Houston Rockets. All right, let me stop joking. I think
Keep in mind, this regular season.
Yeah, exactly. I think the Rockets actually will be
Go
in the
up.
same. Nice, they go up. I think they'll actually be. I say even. I actually say even. Only because I don't. What's going to change for them? Not roster. Obviously, they have no flexibility. I believe in more, but they have no flexibility whatsoever with that. Same coach, same player, same mentalities. I don't think CP3 is going to convince Harden to change, and vice versa. So, I think they'll actually stay even. I think they'll stay even. I don't think much will change. Like I say, it's regular season, so that'll buy them some games alone.
I'm gonna go over. You know how I feel about them. But a large portion of the season, that they deal with a lot of injuries and stuff, and that did give James Harden his time to be a regular season superstar
MVP.
But
Not voted by the
but
coaches.
at the same time, like I think they're starting off healthy and not a lot changing. They're still a solid team, and so I think they'll be over. And then at the same time, like their kryptonite is destroyed now, so they'll probably be more motivated and think it's open until they lose in like the second round again or something like that. But I'll go over.
Go ahead, James.
I think they'll stay the same. It's just for the Rockets. It really just depends on how the injuries fall. They gonna come. It's just when they fall.
Hey man, don't be. Hey, knock on wood. What you talking about?
Okay, because Chris Paul ain't got hurt like the last 7 years in his NBA career. But yeah, so no, I just think they'll be the same. I think they will get a little, up mentally because, hey, the Warriors are not the Warriors. We don't have to deal with that. We do not have to deal with these people.
Right.
But now they got a whole new monster to deal with that we ain't even got to yet. So.
Yeah, we ain't got to them. I'm definitely going over. I know one game for sure, specifically the last game of the season. We lost on some bull jiggy. We lost on some bull jiggy. So that's at least 54 wins right there. So I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna say we go 55 to 56, like you said. It's just about when the injuries come. They will, but it's just about when and how many people get injured in one time. But we're still one of the best teams in the NBA.
Regular season.
Okay. Still one of the best teams in the NBA. So I'm definitely going 56 wins. All right, then we're going to go to the Utah Jazz. They won 50 games last year. I'm going under. I don't like Donovan Mitchell. I think trading Kyle Korver and Jay Crowder took away some of their shooting, which they didn't have much of last year. Rudy Gobert somehow won Defensive Player of the Year again. Kind of overrated at this point of his career.
Not kinda, but okay.
Yeah.
I like the addition of Mike Conley, but I just don't. Donovan Mitchell's still their best player, and I still don't think he's that good. So I'm going 47 games, 46 games.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like I feel like they'll be one of those end of the season sneaking in playoff teams,
like a mid-tier team.
Yeah, and so they're not going to do as good as they did last season. So I'm saying under.
I'm gonna also go under only because I like Mike Conley a lot. I'm a Grizzlies fan. I love Mike Conley, but recently he has been hurt a good amount. So I don't think his health is where it should be and it will be for them. So he's going to miss a couple of games more likely. and Donovan Mitchell. I'm also not believing Donovan Mitchell, so I think that'll move them under just off that alone availability of their star players.
I'm gonna go even, and the reason I'm gonna go even is because I believe if you keep everything the way it was with Utah, basically you just trade in Ricky Rubio. You trade him out for Mike Conley. And I have always loved Mike Conley. Not a big Grizzlies fan, but I just believe when he's right, he is top 5 point guard to me, just for what I
agree. I agree with that.
Whoa.
James, I agree. James, I agree. Different conversation. I agree.
So I believe he's gonna do a lot more for that team than y'all giving him credit for. I really do. Don't even broach it.
Now that you said that, bro, I'm going way under. Go 41 games. Because this boy said top 5 point guard.
I think we just talked about 10 clearly better point guards so far. I'm not 10. I ain't gonna be that disrespectful. More than 5.
Let's just move on. I don't want to get to this. James, it's 2v2. It's good, James.
Yeah, we just gotta move on now. These next 3 names, oh man, I already know the next one for sure. We're gonna have a lot
60 wins, right?
to talk about. Oklahoma City Thunder, 49 wins last year. I'm going way under.
What?
I'm gonna get that 44 games.
So they're not making the playoffs?
Disrespect.
I don't see.
They're not making the playoffs?
Look, bro, I don't see this team. They're not getting any better, bro. I think Paul George has the best season he'll ever have in his career.
What?
And they still only won 49 games. So I'm going under 44. Russell Westbrook is getting older. He's not going to be able to do what he did or has been doing. They can't do nothing else. Contractually, they are stuck. Andre Roberson's coming back, as they said. So that means their shooting percentage is going to be lower.
Down. It's going down.
So I don't know. Go. Yeah, I know we're gonna have. Yeah, go ahead.
55 wins.
Boy, you
55 over 49. Over 49.
boy said so they're gonna be better than Houston.
Yes.
They're gonna be better than Denver.
Yeah, it'd be
55.
Yeah. Okay, not 55. What did we say, Denver? I said Denver stay the same. So yeah, maybe like anywhere between 52 to 55. They making a playoff. You gonna say that's not a playoff team? That's disrespectful.
No, they gonna make the playoffs with 44 wins.
Go ahead, Pat.
Look, bro. Once I get to the other ones, you're gonna hear my numbers. Then you are gonna understand why they gonna make the playoffs.
I want to say Jeremy is mad disrespectful right now. So I'll throw that out there. No disrespect to the host. They're definitely what they
49.
49. Oh, they're at least getting to 49. They're at least getting to 49 wins. I think as PG said, 2 healthy shoulders. It's 2 of the things. I think he's learned a lot about what he can do and get more comfortable in who he is. And like with the regression of Russell Westbrook, as Jeremy brought up, I think that'll bring out more and more of PG being more assertive.
Now we've seen Paul George
during the regular season.
Okay.
During the regular season. This is regular season, okay. So I think that bring out more of his assertiveness, and I think that will help the team to at least get the 49 wins, if not 50. So I'm going even over, a little bit partial, so I go over.
You can't be even.
Oh, okay, fine. I'll be over.
Even and over.
I said even 2 over, but I'm gonna go with over just because.
We could do that with everybody.
Just because. No, we can't. No, we can't. I'm going over.
Can't do it with the Knicks.
You can't do it with the Knicks. I'm going over by 1. Go over by 1.
Go ahead, James.
So, here's the thing. Andre Robertson's coming back. He will drop their shooting percentage. But what he will do is take them from the number 2 defense they were to probably the number 1 defense.
They're going to elevate by default just because the Warriors don't have the players that they had.
Well, hey, elevation is elevation. So, I believe it'll be even. I think they'll go 49 because I believe Paul George was, like I said, he was a different player. I had never seen that Paul George before, and I just believe his shoulder injury is what took him out of that MVP race. So I believe as long as his shoulder's healthy and he can do what he was doing, I don't see a problem.
Not to move on too quickly from Paul George, but I feel like the way their season ended, after you beat a team and sweep them in a regular season, and then you get destroyed in the playoffs, I feel like that would be more motivation for them. And with a player like Russell Westbrook, I don't think that's going to hurt them. And the Russell Westbrook regression, and like Pat was saying, allows Paul George to do more, which he was doing at the beginning of the season, and they found like that little sweet spot to where they could win games and be good.
This is what I'm going to say. He went on like a 15-game stretch where he was averaging like 40 points. Do y'all think he can replicate that next season?
I think, piggybacking off what James said, with Roberson coming back, taking someone else's responsibilities off him defensively, so he's less tired during games. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say he can average 40. Come on. I don't think that's too high. But I think he can definitely average low to mid-30s at least. At least with decent rebound numbers and of course, doing enough on defense to still be a effective two-way player.
So you saying MVP season again? Because if he averaging low to mid-30s with decent rebound in his defense, that's MVP season.
Well, I don't know, because James Harden did 36 and 7, and
he lost. So if Paul George win MVP with 30 points and like 8 rebounds, we're gonna have a fight. We're gonna fight, man.
That boy's
like, that don't make any sense. I mean, look, y'all just believe in somebody that I really don't believe in anymore.
And he hears you. He hears you. He said it when Clutch came out, had the most clutch regular season.
And then the playoffs wasn't there, but different story, different day.
James Harden.
We're gonna move on.
James Harden.
We're gonna move on. We're gonna go to 7 San Antonio Spurs. 48 wins. I'm saying nowhere close. I'm going to go 41 wins. I'm definitely going under. I hate DeMar as a player. I think he's trash. Honestly, LaMarcus Aldridge. I was about to call him Lamar Odom. That's what he looks like right now. Lamar Odom from the Big Three. Enough said. I mean, I'm going to give Pop, of those 40 wins, I'm going to say Pop is going to attribute to 38 of them. It's just a different game. Like when your team doesn't shoot threes, it's gonna be hard to win. So that's where I'm at with San Antonio.
I think I think you know what? I actually think that they will. I think they will get to. I give them about 46 games actually, and I'm putting a lot of hope in one basket in the fact that given that Toronto just won and how quickly in one season Kawhi made DeMar irrelevant. Hopefully, that will get him in the gym right at this moment and have him seeing that, you know, you got to step up your game. Like, you got to prove that,
get him in the gym. That boy on suicide watch.
He probably is, but hey, it's different ways to deal with it. But I think I'm hoping that will light fire on him and make him, you know, step up more and get more comfortable in the San Antonio system, and that'll get them some wins. And you can't discount Pop. Pop is Pop, man. Like, everybody knows what that means. So, you know, I think they'll at least get like around 46, 47 wins.
I'm with you, Jerm. I think this will be a year where people are never going to question Pop because of his legacy, but this is going to be a year that's going to be like a stain on his reputation, because it's like their team, they're pretty much the same how they are now, and you got to take into account how many teams gotten better in the West. Exactly. So this is why I feel like they'll fall below 48.
One last thing for James goes. What's my boy name? What's the point guard name who got hurt? DeJounte Murray. He's going to come back. I think, I'm not saying he's a really, really good player, but I think that he can definitely help to make a difference.
41 wins
on that team.
Yeah, I think he can. I don't think they'll make the playoffs.
You don't think they make playoffs? That's different. I'm going on wins only. That's different, but I think wins they'll probably 46.
Go ahead, James.
Yeah, I don't think they make the playoffs either. I mean, the only person in the world more depressed than Knicks players was probably DeMar DeRozan having to watch that parade in Toronto. Mm-hmm. Like, that hurt. And I don't think he got in the gym. Like, even when he was doing interviews, it was just like, you know, they there because of me. I helped, you know, like. So I don't know what that means.
Wait. I'm sorry. Not to get off topic. But it's like, DeMar, like, what are you saying right now?
I mean, technically he has a point.
He helped build it.
He has a point. You know,
what did he build?
He said he helped build it.
Talking about, he has a point. How they get Kawhi without him? They had to trade him for his spot.
I get it.
First double win too.
So that boy helped build the trade bait. I guess that's
sacrificial lamb. Boy, he said it himself. Boy.
So I give them like 40, 41. I don't think they'll make the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think they'll make playoffs either. I don't think they'll make it.
For sure. And then 8, LA Clippers, 48 wins. They're not even touching that. I'm going to give them 35, 34.
What if they leave?
Let me finish. Now, if they get Kawhi, it's something different. If they can get Kawhi, we're looking at 50 wins. I could see 50, 51 because I think they have a pretty good team. They're just missing that star player. But if they don't get Kawhi and he stays in Toronto, I'm giving them 30. I'm going 30 wins.
Yeah, it's up in the air about the Kawhi situation. As it is, like I don't think they'll touch 48 either. If they hit in the 40s,
That's a lot of wins.
I'll be kind of impressed. But with Kawhi, I still don't see them as like I don't want to sleep on Kawhi, but even with Kawhi, I don't see them as like a 50-plus win team. I mean, I don't. I feel like they'll be like a 6 seed kind of.
But they won 48.
I mean, you don't think they will win 48 again, though.
And you're right. I think they win 50 with Kawhi.
No,
you're right.
No, I don't think so.
Oh man.
So I'm gonna go assuming they don't get Kawhi here. With everybody else not making the playoffs, definitely not getting 48. Maybe I give them about 40 to 39 wins.
That's high.
Yeah, I believe Doc Rivers in. I believe in those players. If Pat Beverly comes back, I give them about 40 to 39 wins. Just because that team has a identity and they're very scrappy and they definitely work in the regular season work for their win. So,
What if they get Kawhi?
if they get Kawhi, I will give them. So they're 48. Yeah, I mean, if they get Kawhi, I'm definitely gonna go from that.
So you don't think Kawhi can get them 2 games
It's hard to. Yeah, it's hard
by
to.
himself?
You think of load management? Here's what you're thinking of?
Yeah.
Load management?
Yeah, I think it's like-
Okay. So think Kawhi not there. So even when he's there, when he's not there, they have 48.
Mm-hmm.
Even with Kawhi on load management, you don't think Kawhi can get him 2 games. So you don't think the 34 games they lost last year, if they have Kawhi, they can't win 2 of them? You don't think Kawhi makes that difference at the end of games?
I think that load management is going to be to where they're just going to try to squeak into. If we need to make it, we're going to squeak into the 8 seed, and it's going to put them in the same situation.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I don't know. I just view Kawhi as like,
Oh, he's amazing.
when you add a top 5 player to any team, they're going to get you the wins that you need. We're talking about 4 to 5 wins for top 5 players. And I can't wait till 2 more names. Number 9, Sacramento Kings, 39 wins. I'm actually going to elevate them. I'm going to give them 44, 45 wins. I think the maturation of De'Aaron Fox is going to be crucial. This dude is ridiculously quick. He makes good decisions. His jumper is improved. I think he's making strides. I like the fact that they re-signed Harrison Barnes. I know. I hate him too.
That's the Mavs fan.
But hey, he is a
He know.
He know. But he do be getting buckets though. He be getting buckets, bro. Like, hey, that's because y'all signed him to be a star. That was y'all problem.
Yeah.
He coming off the bench for this team, so I think him and Marvin Bagley.
That make that Von Wafer mistake.
Yeah, if Marvin Bagley can get over that dish that happened with him between Damian Lillard and he can improve, I can see them winning 45 games.
Yeah.
I see over just because, let's think, in the 4 meetings they had with Golden State last year, they all went to like the last shot and they just couldn't win it because they were young. So I think over.
That's what I was thinking too. Just like the amount of teams that, I mean, just Golden State in my mind, that being that depleted, they'll steal some wins from them. And like Jeremy saying, like De'Aaron Fox is like, he's really showing himself to be great. So, I mean, I think it'll be over. Not a playoff team, probably though.
You don't think so?
They'll be jockeying for position.
Clippers, no Kawhi, they dropping. San Antonio, they dropping.
Yeah, but then I see.
You know what, Jeremy?
I don't know. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I don't know how you said it was playoff team. You gave him 44 wins. This is the West.
45 wins.
You gave 45. I don't think 45. That's not going to cut in the West. I don't think so. But
Okay.
I'll give them the same amount of wins, maybe 45 to 43 to 45. Just like everybody said, echoing their sentiments. They're maturing. They're younger. Cauley-Stein isn't a huge loss enough to affect that, so I do think they can be around 43, 45. But I don't think they're a playoff team just yet, just because the West is so competitive that you have to crack around at least, like so last year, 48 to 50 wins just to make even the 8th seed.
Okay. All right. Well, my next favorite, Los Angeles Lakers. Now, let me preface by saying this. Plus Kawhi, I'm going to say they're going to be plus 43 games. They're going to win 80 games. They're going to lose the first 2 games of the season and win 80 straight.
Over. I'm gonna take a walk out on the limb and go over with or without Kawhi just because.
What a great leap.
Because you got 2 of the top 5 players in the NBA. Nobody else has that anymore.
Hold on, James. Breaking news by my man Patrick. The Warriors are in talks with the Nets to trade for D'Angelo Russell. So that can be something interesting. It doesn't say. Does it say who they're talking about trading?
It just says Russell, Travion Graham, whoever he may be, never heard of him, and Shabazz Napier from Brooklyn. It doesn't say what the Warriors are willing to give up. They're trying to do a sign and trade.
Tough. That could be tough. But go ahead, James. Go ahead and finish.
Actually, Jeremy, even bigger update. They have actually traded for him.
What?
Yep.
You hear?
He's a Golden State Warrior. Golden State Warrior,
D'Angelo
man.
Russell, man, going to the Warriors
On a 4-year, $117 million max contract.
Can I revise my words? Let me revise that.
This is crazy.
This is crazy.
What?
Steph Curry and D'Angelo Russell.
Oh my!
I can't wait to see how that works. That's gonna be interesting.
That's gonna be really interesting, especially when Clay come back. But it still won't matter just because.
It still won't matter. Oh man!
It's LeBron and AD, and that's without Kawhi. You put Kawhi on that team, they going 82-0, 16-0.
No, bro. They gonna win. They gonna lose 2 games.
Low man.
Don't be disrespectful. They gonna lose 2 games. It's gonna be 2 games where all 3 of them sit out. Okay, and they gonna lose. But
Who's the best player LeBron's ever played with, in y'all opinion?
Okay, see, I hate this question only because of this reason. So, are we talking like?
No.
Wait.
It ain't D Wade.
Okay,
I know that's what people say.
Okay, yes.
D Wade at the time when he got there, he was not the D Wade
so
that we knew.
I think
so. It's easily Kyrie Irving.
Exactly. Okay, because people try to get to the whole point of how D Wade helped him off the court wise, like it was his intangibles as opposed to on the court, and so on the court easily to me is Kyrie.
Exactly. So you telling me you finna give LeBron? Kyrie was 6'3". You know he got a handle, can finish with the best. But you finna give LeBron a 6'11" powerhouse that can play defense, can step out, got a handle for a big fella, and we just gonna act like they gonna go for 2-3 wins?
I will say this though. LeBron, when he was playing with D Wade, that was a different LeBron.
No, he was.
That's prime. That's prime LeBron right there. But you right, bro. Like Anthony, man, it's just different. It's different. And that's without Kawhi. So I don't even think about it. Let's move on. Okay.
What did y'all say without Kawhi?
I said 80. Oh, without Kawhi, I'm gonna give him like 50 something. With Kawhi, 80 and 2.
James, what'd you say without Kawhi?
55, 56, somewhere like that. Man.
I say without Kawhi, I see them.
Because you got to think, LeBron missed 18 games, and they were in 4th last year.
Yeah.
So nobody said it yet. Could they, even without Kawhi, could they be a 60-win team? We haven't had a 60-win team yet.
This is what I will say.
The Lakers?
This is what I will say. If they can get Patrick Beverly, if they can get the necessary pieces, I think LeBron and AD is enough to get you 60 wins, but it's going to have to be some nice pieces around them.
Right.
So it just depends on what kind of pieces that they get. But I think just between those 2, they can get you 50. They can get you 50.
I mean, CJ and Dame can do it.
If CJ and Dame can do it.
No disrespect to today, Mo Harkless. But if they can do it, LeBron can definitely get you 50. Yeah, I'm thinking about 55 plus. If Kawhi
Kawhi there, 70 plus.
If Kawhi's there, I ain't gonna lie to you. If Kawhi's there, they're gonna have like a random like 69 or 68 win season because of the lower management thing and taking it kind of easy. So that's what I think. I already did my statement.
Oh, yeah, you did. Okay, let's move on. Minnesota Timberwolves, 36 games. Let me say this. I thought that they would trade Andrew Wiggins for D'Angelo Russell.
I bet they thought that too until a few minutes ago.
So, will they get more than 36? I don't like Andrew Wiggins. I really don't think he's that good of a player.
No one does.
And I love Cat, but 36 wins, that's a lot to ask for.
30. I'm giving them 30.
I agree with you on that one.
That's what I'm yeah.
I
was actually going to go lower, believe it or not. I don't know.
Rose won in some games last year.
Yeah.
Definitely he did, yeah.
And Jimmy Butler won in some games too.
He did, so yeah.
So I don't know.
30.
I'm going to give him 28 wins.
Oh, damn.
Wouldn't be surprised.
I'm going to give him 28 wins.
I agree with that. I can see anywhere between. I want to say they hit 30, but those 6 games probably go to Jimmy Butler and Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to go as far as to say that they're going to be the last in the West. That's how far I'm going to go with it. Even below the Phoenix Suns.
Even below the Mavericks.
Yes.
Let's not do that.
Yes.
We're going to get there.
Yes.
We're going to get there.
Yes. You know what? Okay. I give them depth at least bottom 2, but I think they'll be even like the worst team. Because I don't believe in Cat. He's not.
You think they're going to be worse than the Grizzlies?
Oh, for a fact, they're worse. Let's not even get there. Look, I'm not even. Stop. They're definitely worse than the Grizzlies. Definitely. I think by elevation of all other teams in the West that's below them. Y'all just interrupt my whole thing, man. I think just by elevation of the teams below them, the Grizzlies, I'm not biased at all. They are my team. The Pelicans, and give James a shout out here, the Mavericks, I think by elevation of them alone is going to knock the Timberwolves down definitely in the West.
We can move on.
Okay, we moving on. We gonna move on to the Memphis Grizzlies. 33 wins, way below. Okay, your best player is a rookie. Your best player is a rookie.
Way below.
Your best player is a rookie who ain't even played a game yet.
Okay.
I'm gonna give him. They won 33. That's too high. I'm gonna give him about 30. I mean, not 30.
27.
24, 25. 23 to 25 wins. I think that'd be good for the Grizzlies.
I think it's over. I think it's 27.
You think over what Jeremy said?
Yeah, so no, they not getting 33
wins.
It's over Jeremy.
They not getting 33
Yeah,
wins.
they get like 27. I think, to me, it'll be interesting because, like, I think people will tune in to see Ja Morant, and to me, it'll be like how Dennis Smith's rookie year was, where it's like, I mean, I know offense, James, but like the Mavericks, nobody really checking for him, and you see these nice highlights from Dennis Smith every now and then.
You ain't got to tell me.
So it's like,
Hold on, Jay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, 27.
No, okay. Besides the Timberwolves, in all honesty, bro, in the West, who do you see the Grizzlies beating?
I see them.
Because they not beating the Pelicans.
Oh my God.
They not beating the Mavericks.
Okay.
And I'm talking about, these are teams that are below them.
Okay.
They not beating the Mavericks. They not beating the Pelicans. They'll beat the Timberwolves. They not going to beat the Lakers. They not going to beat Sacramento. What, San Antonio? Nah, they won't beat San Antonio. I'm sorry, Pat.
They probably played Toronto a couple of times.
Okay, but that depends. If Kawhi's still there, or is Kawhi not there? Because if Kawhi not there, bro, and that's one win. They're going to get one win off Toronto. They're going to play the Knicks. They're going to get one win off. They're going to get wins off the Cavaliers. Like, what? They're going to lose to the Bulls. So, I don't know, bro.
I'm not going back and forth. I'm just going to simply say this.
I might change my number.
I'm just going to simply say that they're going to definitely
Grizzlies a bottom 4 team in the NBA. Bottom 5 team in the NBA because the East going to have 3 of them.
Yeah, enough of that foolishness. They're going to at least be. I give him at least 37 wins. At least 37 wins. I give him at least 30. I give him at least 37. I give him at least 37.
37.
I give him at least 37.
There's no way.
I got 37 at least easily because look, this is where I'm coming from. Okay,
Yeah, I can't wait. Mm-hmm.
Mike Conley was not there the whole season last year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Morant's gonna be there, and no disrespect to James' team, but he ain't that anymore. Morant is way better than Dennis Smith. It's not even close.
Yeah.
Jaren Jackson is.
He's just not better than Kristaps.
Or Luka.
So only reason I'm not addressing. Always I bring it up because I don't know Luka's. I don't know what Porzingis' health is going to be. Okay. So he's very iffy. So that's why I'm not too big worried about them. The Mavericks. I'm not. No offense, to James again, but so I'm not worried about them.
Okay, wait. Okay, so the 4 times that they play the Southwest Division, so that's the Rockets, that's Grizzlies, Dallas, San Antonio, New Orleans. I see 2 wins.
You see 2.
I see 2 wins.
You see 2.
They'll beat the Mavericks once, maybe San Antonio once.
I could definitely see them getting one on the Pelicans. I can see that happening. I see that happening. I believe in Drew Holiday. I think Zion would be revolutionary, but I don't think he's something to just fear that much because he's a rookie.
Right.
I like Lonzo. I have zero faith in Brandon Ingram. Zero. And Josh Hart is going to be off the bench, so I don't know about Josh Hart.
But they got JJ Redick now.
Oh my gosh, what a life changer! That's great. That's great. But we've also added shooting, so that's going to help.
Who?
The Grizzlies have also added shooting. That's going to help a lot. They added Jay Crowder and Kyle Korver. Avery, okay, and then let me keep going. Avery Bradley is back. I'm not saying he's the life changer, but he's also back. So, or y'all saying they're going to be in the 20s or whatever?
All right, bro. Let me revise.
They're going to be 37.
Instead of 25, I'm gonna go 27.
I said 27. Sure.
I mean,
You nice.
Thank you, James. We can move on from this one. But I say over. Everybody says under. It is what it is.
We're gonna move on. New Orleans Pelicans 33 wins. I think they'll be around that same number.
I agree. I'm
gonna go even or maybe 34, maybe 32, but between those 3. Like we were talking about, I honestly think that team is gonna be actually nice. I think they're just gonna be young to close out games. As much as I despise Lonzo, the way that he plays point guard, I really do like it. Great defender. He moves the ball. That fast break is going to be sick. It's going to be sick.
He compliments Zion well.
Yeah, yeah. And unlike Pat over here, I actually like Brandon Ingram. I think he'll have his own team. I mean, just because he ain't got the hunger don't mean he ain't going to be nice. He going to be nice.
Well, what is nice? That's
He
very.
going to be better than Andrew Wiggins.
That's your definition of nice?
No.
A lot of people are nice. A lot of people are nice if that's the case.
No, I'm just saying, like, Andrew Wiggins, but that's the same thing we said about Andrew Wiggins. Like, he don't got the hunger, but I think Brandon Ingram is better than him. I think Brandon Ingram is better than him. I think adding JJ Redick, that's going to give them shooting on that fast break. It's going to be dangerous. And if Zion is anything close to what people are expecting him to be, then they're going to be a problem.
For
some teams. They're going to be a nice league pass team, I can say that.
A real good league pass team.
So I give them 33 wins.
I think they go. I'll give them between like 38 to 40 wins.
But you put the Grizzlies at 27.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the reason why they got some of those wins, because they got to play the Grizzlies. But I feel like that team is going to, like y'all said, it's going to be a fast-paced, fast-moving team. It's going to be exciting to see. And I feel like they'll catch some of those teams off guard as they're starting to rest players and stuff like that.
Hold on. Just to go back to the Grizzlies thing, so Andre Iguodala has been traded to the Grizzlies. So I'm going to move that number from 27 to 28 wins.
I knew it.
Oh, man. I was going to say 30. Because that boy he beat.
No. This is just quick aside. No disrespect. That's messed up to trade him to the Grizzlies, though. That's kind of messed up. They trade him to the Grizzlies, though.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They did that because he said what he said.
What are they doing? Like, what are they really doing right now?
They're trying to probably clear for money. Personally,
His contract's pretty good.
The contract is pretty big. So
but I mean, what are they doing though? So like they're literally okay. And so are they in rebuild? Or are they saying, look, like,
I think trying to rebuild on the fly kind of type of thing.
because it's like, look, because they bench, they're gonna have anybody on their bench.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's gonna be ugly.
I mean, but
they literally just.
But you got McKinney, boy. What you talking about?
Right. They literally just probably traded. They literally probably just traded away one of their clutchest player. He's more clutch than Steph. Don't care what nobody says. More clutch than Steph. Plays great defense. Yeah, I'm sorry, James. 0 MVPs. Finals MVPs.
One is Janana. I don't care about no finals MVP.
What you mean?
Cornbread.
Okay.
Cornbread, whatever his name was, had a finals MVP.
Yeah.
Can we get back to this over and under?
Oh, sorry. Okay.
So I was saying 38-40 wins because they'll smack some of these teams that we're not going to mention that's in that division, but at the same time, like they're going to catch some teams off guard that's doing like load management.
I can see that.
They're going to catch them off guard towards
see that.
the end of the year and then steal some wins.
So they can catch him off guard. Rich can catch somebody off guard.
Correct.
This double standard is killing me.
This is one of those teams that in 4 to 5 years, this might be a legit
That's
contender.
why we're talking about league pass teams.
But
bro.
we're talking about next season right now.
Well, yeah, we'll beat y'all.
Anyway, I think that they'll probably go probably about 3 games. So I'll give them 36.
They gotta beat somebody.
I'll give them 36. It ain't gonna be us, so we can go on from there. We can progress.
James, what you think?
I'm at about 36, 37. Nah, 34, 35.
Tell me. So you think they only gonna win 5 more games than the Memphis Grizzlies?
Oh, why would you keep playing about the Memphis Grizzlies? What you hate, dude? I can't wait till next year. I cannot wait.
Oh, this will be terrible,
dude. I cannot wait. I can't
for
wait.
him.
Hey, you know what?
It
You
ain't
know
terrible
what?
for
I'm
me.
buying League Pass just because that's when I can watch the Grizzlies. I'm buying League Pass. I'm buying it. I'm gonna have League Pass.
Oh, man. All right.
So they get to 37. I'm gonna call
37
everybody.
what? You mean game 37?
Wins.
When they're like 1 and
When they get to
36. All right, James. Oh, yeah, you gave us your number. All right, we're going to move on to your team, buddy. The Dallas Mavericks, 33 wins last year.
45.
Maxi Cleveland.
45.
Oh man, he been waiting 13 spots to say that.
45. Playoff team.
Maxi Cleveland.
Okay.
You said playoff team?
48. Let's go. They gonna almost win 50 games. I'm telling you.
AC.
48 wins.
They're gonna be the AC.
And by almost 50 games, do you mean 35 wins? Because
No,
I don't see them.
48.
I like Kristaps.
don't.
Seriously, I do see them winning like close to 40 games. But I don't see him staying healthy
At all.
I just don't see him staying healthy. And Luka, we've seen what he can do, but
I'm not bringing negative thoughts into this equation.
no, I feel you, bro, because that's your team. But I mean, like I said, bro, the only person in the division that might be is the Grizzlies.
Just leave Pat alone.
So-
That leaves Grizzlies
They
alone.
might be the. I feel like they'll steal some guys from the Spurs.
I'm going to record right now and say that the Grizzlies are going to beat the Rockets. They have a winning record against the Rockets. I'm going to record right now and say
We
that.
said winning
So
record.
you think they're gonna beat them 3 times out of 4?
Hey, didn't I say winning record? Ain't that what I said?
Ooh.
Swept. They about to get swept.
We're going to watch that.
I'll come all the way back to watch it.
Why?
No, we got to watch it. I'm saying like we're going to keep an eye on that.
Yeah,
that
on the
that
TikTok.
series.
I ain't watching that trash. It'll be another good game.
Yeah.
It'll be on like Fox Southwest or something to watch it.
Chris Paul may help us beat y'all. They ain't like Harden, but
He might, but y'all gonna need a lot more than that to go wrong.
we'll see.
I think James Harden single-handedly beat y'all by himself.
Boy,
last year.
stop.
So I think James
Boy.
Harden had like 50. Y'all
Boy.
probably had like 70 points.
Boy, stop.
Okay. Well, we're gonna move on, bro. We on the Mavericks right now. We on the Mavericks.
Mavericks.
Okay.
Y'all can beat my team, but I don't know.
I'm giving them 40. Cause James said 50 games. That's a lot of games.
I said 48.
He said
48.
You said almost 50.
He said
Supposed
almost
yeah. Okay. Thank you. All right. But yeah, I mean, I don't see Kristaps staying healthy, and I just don't like the pieces. I thought Dennis Smith was gonna be nice, but he not nice. And
Maybe he's not with us no more, so we ain't got to worry about it.
with that?
yeah, I know, but then it's like,
I forgot who did they get from that in that trade?
Tim Hardaway.
What they did? I'm gonna say they probably go 37 games. I'll give them that.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that wins 40 games.
Well, out of balance of wins and losses, somebody has to take some losses, somebody has to take wins. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go even. They're gonna stay right where they are. No, but in all seriousness, the injuries that Kristaps has at his size, those don't. I'm sorry, James, knock on wood, but
It's gonna be
those are hard to ever come back from. I mean, you see, they ended y'all career, and you just can't. It's hard to come back from those. So I don't know. His health is the hugest question prior to next season. So
because
I do like Luka a lot.
We know,
so.
like he is a top 15 player in the NBA.
15.
He's a top 15 player in the NBA.
If he healthy.
You went healthy? He's a top 15 player. Yeah, he's a top 15.
I'll go down my list, but okay.
That's another day.
That's another day. It's another day. But I do like Luka a lot, so I think they can at least get that much what they
so
have
they
now.
get to 40. Now 50.
I didn't say 40.
Bro, you drinking?
But-
You drinking, bro? They
Man, that's all I got here. And I ain't a
that's true.
Cowboys fan. I don't
that's
watch
true.
baseball like that.
Yeah,
That's
that's
why I
true,
got
bro.
is the Mavericks.
Well, I'm sorry, you're gonna be disappointed again. But they ain't touching 50. And then, of course, the last team to talk about, which probably won't
We shouldn't talk about.
the Phoenix Suns, 19 wins. I think they go higher.
Only because that's the only place they can
I
go.
think they go higher because you have to throw games in order to win to lose. in order to only win 19 games, you have to throw them. Okay, and they picked up Ricky Rubio, and I think that's going to help them. So it's going to help Devin Booker, and I think DeAndre Ayton is going to take that next step. He's not going to be a great player. He's just going to take the next step. So he's going to put up a couple more points, a couple more rebounds, and I think that'll be a difference in a couple games. So I'll give him 20.
Talk him up so big. I think, man, I like Devin Booker. He's on my he's one of my top 3 favorite players. But he's just Devin Booker by himself. He can't do anything else besides score. So they did get Ricky Rubio, but they also lost T.J. Warren to the Pacers. I don't see them getting any better right now. Still have Josh Jackson, who's going to be Josh Jackson, which is nothing. And so I'll say they stay at 19 to 18 wins because of their talent. Also, they might just try to keep tanking to get them a better player. That will not happen, sir. That will not happen.
Based off of Pat logic from earlier, like somebody got to get smacked, and it's going to be the Suns. Like I think they may get 22 games.
That's a
Oh,
lot.
that's the improvement.
That's a lot.
So that's good.
That's a lot for them.
I mean, yeah, but now, I take that back because of the breaking news of Golden State. They're going to be about even. You're right. They'll be about even.
They are the Knicks, so they go to West. So
No, bro. Don't be disrespectful.
That's so disrespectful, James.
Don't be disrespectful.
That's so
what happened?
disrespectful. At least the Cavs.
Do we not remember that tirade that Chuck went on about the cold heat?
The Phoenix Suns.
James, do you not remember the biggest signing in New York history was Julius Randle? Like, do you realize? Like,
Mark Stoudemire.
Julius Randle is like their biggest signing in New York history. Like, they traded for Carmelo. Remember that? They traded for
I
him.
remember.
Yes.
Trade the whole team. That shows you how inept
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah.
I give them 19, and that's being generous.
Nothing. I'm telling you, bro. 20 games. I can. 20 and 62. That sounds like a Phoenix Suns record. Like we
It
can get
does.
ready to say that. Just like 21 wins sounds like a Memphis Grizzlies record.
So you keep going down every time you say his name.
Because, bro.
Hey, I think the Rockets gonna only win. What I said earlier. I think the Rockets gonna only win 48 games.
Because y'all keep saying, the wins and losses got to balance. And I'm like, if I'm
So
elevating.
you take all the wins from the Grizzlies.
I
There's
know,
other
bro,
teams take them from.
but I'm elevating LA. I'm elevating Sacramento.
You're
I'm
downgrading
I'm
LA
downgrading
Clippers
OKC.
and
I'm
Warriors
downgrading the Clippers.
and the Warriors and the Jazz.
Yeah,
You talk about a lot of people. Why you taking all our wins away?
because I think all those teams should be the good teams. So it's like,
All right,
I don't
you
know.
sleep on Jared Jackson. Just keep sleeping on our team, bro.
I'm sorry,
You gonna see.
I'm just sorry, bro.
You gonna see.
I just don't see it. All right, and now I'm going to ask y'all to do a hard decision. I'm going to make you pick your NBA champion. Way too early. We're not even in the off season. It's the first day of free agency. I'm going to make you pick your NBA champion right now. Who you got?
Well, just because it's way early and we're not supposed to know better, I'm gonna say OKC because I believe they learned.
Boys do not believe in educated guesses.
And it's gonna be a rough year for AD and LeBron as far as playoffs are concerned. But just because it's an early,
so even if they get Kawhi,
Come on, we don't know that yet.
yeah, we don't know that yet.
We're doing
Based off what we know now, OKC is prone to make a championship run.
okay,
That's
Dang.
crazy.
ain't it? That's yeah.
Look, I understand everybody want to say it's going to be hard, but when number 6 and number 23 step out on the court, who checking them? That's all I'm asking. Playoffs, regular season. When LeBron and AD step on the court, who checking who? And who going Los Angeles. It's too early, but I'm going to go Los Angeles.
PG and Jerry, right?
Andre Roberson, but the Grizzlies will win next year's championship because Iguodala will shut down LeBron. Nah, let me stop playing. Hey, I think honestly, with how it is now, just because I don't know who LA will add around LeBron and AD. Don't get me wrong, they LeBron and AD. I think legit it could be the Nuggets. I think it could be the Nuggets. I think it could be the Nuggets, man.
This boy, hey.
I think that it could be the Nuggets, man.
Listen, what do I know, fans? If y'all ever want me to not invite him again, just let me know. Just let me know. And thank you for guys. If you're still listening at this point of the show, thank you for listening. Hopefully, we giving you some entertainment value. He just gave me some
Grindhouse.
value.
Grit and grind, baby. Grit and grind.
Grinding, all right.
Grit and grind. Tony Allen gonna come back, suit up for us. Zebo gonna come back.
This is unbelievable. But me, go ahead, James. Have you said yours? No, you haven't said yours yet. Go ahead.
I said the Lakers.
Oh, you said the Lakers? Man, knowing what we know and what we don't know, next year, I'm going with the 76ers. I think they just have more talent than anybody else had at this moment. I think having Joel Embiid and Al Horford is a crazy front line, and I think AD will have trouble with both of them.
No jump shot. He ain't got no jump shot.
I'm not, bro. I ain't gonna say that about Ben Simmons. He sucks. But I was gonna say I think Tobias Harris is gonna be able to come into his role better now that Jimmy Butler is not there taking up some of those shots. Tobias Harris can get in the rhythm because Al Horford can be more of a playmaker than a scorer. So that's gonna help Tobias Harris out a lot and Ben Simmons. And I just like the way that their team looks. But I don't know, bro. Like I said, bro, if Kawhi goes to LA, I'm thinking 80 wins, 3 straight titles. No question. No question. But yeah, thank y'all for coming out, getting on this free agency podcast. We'll definitely see what happens over the next couple of weeks. For those of you who do not watch Big 3 basketball, tune into that, guys. It's actually pretty interesting. Gilbert Arenas, which is one of my favorite players. No Chill Gil. That's his name. He's been playing, and I love what Ice Cube is doing, giving the platform for all the older players to come play.
Maybe Darren Wilson come out and play.
Okay, see, now he getting real disrespectful, y'all. All right, thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all have a good night. Peace.